Listen, this is how time passes. It's a turn of the head from decision to indecision to perplexity. It's an idiotic, semiotic nightmare with no option. But what if I launched futility like a kite, romanced the air, glimpsed all that peculiar beauty wafting and whispering? Could I cut the line and watch it float or crash with equanimity? Not for long. There is an incessant urge to trap the moment, to make it make sense. Isn't that what 3 a.m. is for? To encourage diatribes against and for the justification of being? I mean, I've got these long sheets of paper tacked to the wall, ready for the night's logic. Here's one, torn and stained from its own flawed journey through time. It starts out with a snotty kind of teenage ramble about how nothing, not art, love, truth, etc., will set you free, until, of course, it occurs to me that, well, actually, nothing will set you free. Yet nothing is only available on a limited basis to a select few. The Dalai Lama, perhaps, but then, even to him, only once or twice. Let's say His Holiness is in a cab in New York City, with an 8 p.m. speaking engagement, and the horns are honking, and the cabbie has on Pakistani music, and it starts to rain, and somewhere between the start of the first wiper blade and the end, as it slaps back down, that 2-second slide across the pane, His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, stops. Nothing exists. No free Tibet, no Chinese, no funds to raise, no movie stars to seduce, no politicians to convince. 2 perfect seconds of nothing. And that's as good as it gets. And that took 60 years of meditation and study and a trek across Tibet and selfless instruction and endless service. The rest of us just play around in the muck, deluded by the promise of truth, love, art, etc. Well, you know. Listen, this is how time passes. It's a stampede. It's a traffic jam. It's the transference of too much life into a singular method. Hanging in my mind, though in real time it's in a museum in Kansas City, is a religious painting. Embedded in wax, in one corner of a simple rough-hewn frame, is the bone of a saint. I don't remember the painting, just what frames it. In a sense, it's never the object, it's the power of what's framing it. This gives me latitude. I indulge myself in Gurdjieff's idiot compassion, so I can look at these photos taken in private, locked away, then exhumed and reframed. How far have they come from the original source? This is not savagery, this wanton feeding on my own leavings. I am a divine cannibal. There is no way to nibble at that thing with no name inside me. Listen, this is how time passes. It's the snap of a black veil in a hot, dry wind in Afghanistan, while at the same time, in a different time, it's the snap of a needle through paper, the hiss of a black thread stitching without success the void between them. How to hone a fury into revelry. The turn of a screw into cork is the turn of a prayer wheel. Can you ever locate intent? I see what could be a small shelf, glass tubes dangling. In a song lyric adheres itself to the image. Nothing on the top but a bucket and a mop and an illustrated book about birds. Then add to that still points from the last day of 1999, and I see dust collecting and color fading. Were they mezuzahs or lures? Were they specimens or ironic chants? Can you ever know the truth of the hand's touch? Listen, this is just how time passes.